Hello friends, let's do today a quick video on social action. And this analysis of social action is as per Weber has looked into it. So let's begin with this analysis of social action and what social action is all about. So social action is very central to the sociology of Max Weber, and it is so central. This can be judged from the fact that in 1978, when a book of Weber, one of the most famous book of Weber, was published, Economy and Society, that in that book, in the opening lines in the first few pages of the book, in which Weber explains what is sociology. So he explains that in sociology we study social action. So this social action is extremely central to sociology as per Weber. So what is this social action? And we can, before we look into this definition, a few things. And like, what is this impact of social action, this analysis of social action which Weber tries to brings in? The first is that he is trying to define how sociology is, and how his definition is different from definitions of his predecessors. Like Marx had always been obsessed about study of a class struggle. So for Karl Marx, history, sociology, everything was all about a study of class struggle. For Durkheim, Emile Durkheim, sociology is about a study of social fact. Max Weber criticized both of them, and he says that you both are wrong. Sociology is not about a study of a class struggle or a study of social fact. Sociology is about study of social action. Now I try to create a definition of social action. When we do so, let's remember two things, the two important ingredients of a social action, at least at a theoretical level. One is meaning, a meaning which the actor assigns to that particular action, and the second is behavior of others. Just remember those two keywords, meaning and behavior of others, when you formulate a definition. This will help you to remember the definition and also help you to develop a better understanding of social action. Before I present to you the formal definition, let's take up a few examples. Suppose you are going on your way somewhere and suddenly it starts raining. What are you going to do? You're possibly going to take some shade, or you're going to save yourself from getting drenched in the rain if there is a tree nearby. You will try to take shade in the tree. This is not a social action. This is not a social action because you have done something entirely for yourself, and it's not related to what others do. It's not related in any way. You're not thinking about behaviors of others. You're not thinking what meaning this is going to send. So this is not a social action. But just imagine if at the same place there were a lot of some of your friends standing there, possibly guys and girls whom you wanted to impress upon, and these people, they were not taking any shade, they were open in the rain. So what you would have done there? You might have thought that if I go and take and stand beneath the tree, they might think me like I'm so boring, I'm not fun loving. So now you will start thinking about how to impress upon these people, and then you might prefer to stand in the rain, and you might actually start dancing just to impress upon these people. You will then take a couple of your selfies, and then you will post on Facebook, because there is a meaning that when a guy is standing in the rain, he is fun loving. There's meaning, and you know that that the behavior, the general behavior of those who stand in the rain and people they admire them, those people are admired by others. They are thought to be fun-loving, adventurous, and kind of someone who loves nature, etc. So, taking into account the behavior of others and the meaning which send, you might prefer to stand in the rain, contrary to what you would have done had you been alone. So, this is a social action. Now, how is social action different from an action? Let's take another example. An action is an act. It becomes social when we give a meaning to it. So let's assume here is a bus. A bus, it doesn't look like, but just imagine that it is a bus there. And a lot of crowd, it gathers around here. And this crowd, out of anger or out of some other reason, any other reason, it puts this bus on fire. This crowd puts the bus on fire. Now this is an action. Something has happened. How would you explain this? And how what would you say about this thing? What happened? Now let's see to this. It is a possibility that this crowd was protesting against the government, and it was looking for some demands. It wanted some subsidies, some food help, some better programs, and it was really angry. The government was not didn't care about its demands, so the crowd went angry, and as a matter of protest, it burnt the buses. It's a movement. It could be a movement. Other possibility is that this crowd, the members of this crowd, did not like the religion of people sitting inside the bus. They were so angry that and so much they hated the religion of these people that they put the bus on fire. So this could be a religious riot. There is a other possibility that their people are so angry that they want the government to go away and to give them a separate territory. It could be a sign of separatism. So what it actually is, it depends upon the meaning. It depends upon the reason why these people put the bus on fire. So through this social action, one more important thing which Weber wants us to look into is value freedom in sociology. He wants us to be value free. What he says is, I'll give you another example. Now imagine if there is a person, he's a sociologist, and he's born into a country where he's born and brought up into a country where there have always been religious rights, communal rights. Societies have been living in tense situation. Now this guy, he travels to here, he starts observing these people. Now in his experience, in his lifetime, he had seen that when people go on such rampage, it's a religious right. So this person, when he comes here and observes this phenomena, he should not put his own value system. He should not think that there is this right happening. He should try to go, or at least try to think like these people. He should try to be like one of these, and then try to think that what is happening. Why are these people putting this bus on fire? He should try to look into the meaning. He should try to develop an understanding for this. And he should not let his personal bias, his personal life experiences interfere into that. Now, one more thing here is, so here we see that when the bus was put on fire, this was just an action. The meaning which we assign to that action is very subjective, and then thus it's become a social action. Now, one more importance and significance of this social action is that around the world, sociologists, they are divided into two groups. There's a big rift in the sociologists. They stand at a great distance from each other. Some sociologists, they stand on this side, and other sociologists, they stand on this side. And there's a big gap between them. These kind of sociologists, they believe in macro sociology, and these one, they believe in micro sociology. These believe that the society has a big structure, society, and in front of the society, an individual is helpless. For example, a Durkheim, there's a Durkheim standing here, and he would believe that an individual is helpless. An individual just goes by the dictates of conscience collective. Similarly, he could be Marx, and Marx would believe that an individual is so helpless and the behavior of an individual is entirely dictated by his position in the society, his position in the class structure. So a bourgeois would behave in one particular way, a proletariat would behave in other particular way. People on these sides, the sociologists on these sides, they say that it's not the society which has the entire control over the behavior of individuals, but individuals, they decide themselves. They reflect upon their surroundings. So they give importance on mind. They give importance on the mental processes. So people on these sides, they take sociology towards psychology. Now, how Weber is relevant here? Weber, a hero of today, and he's one of the most loved sociologists. He's a very balanced person. So he says he comes and walks on this bridge, and he puts up a banner here in his hands, and he says that this banner reads as social action. So, through his study of social action, through his concept of social action, Weber, he is trying to bridge this gap between these two. So, this gap, he's trying to bridge the gap between these two schools of sociologists. Amongst micro sociologists, we can have like ethno methodology, ethnomethodology, or symbolic interactionism. Weber, he is Weber's social action. Some sociologists think it goes towards micro sociology, too much towards micro sociology, but it's not so true. Social action also takes into account the features of macro sociology because it understands that there are some patterns in the society. There is some culture, there are culture, there is a group common sense, and these kind of things, it is recognized when a sociologist needs to understand the meaning behind an action. So social action also takes into account some features of macro, it also takes into account some features of micro sociology. Also, we need to remember that Weber, prior to Weber, Durkheim, who belonged to French tradition. He was one of the founding fathers of sociology. Now, Durkheim and Marx also, who were who were like more of macro sociology schools. Weber was one of the first who started moving away from them. He started saying that we need to give some importance to mind, behavior, meaning. We need to bring these things. We can also talk about one more aspect on this, that there's always been a debate that whether sociology is a science or is it an art or humanities. There's been always been great debate between them, and as we saw previously, there is again a rift between these two. The people on those who say that it's a science, they say that sociology, just like science study matter, sociology study society. Those who are on this side, they say that it's not the same. Matter and society can't be same. And we need to give importance on interpretation. We need to give importance on interpretation. We need to give importance on meaning, on behaviors. Social action again tries to the gap between these two. It says sociology has some aspects of humanities. It says sociology has some aspects of science. It says so because in science, while in arts, as I said we interpret and we derive the meaning. These things, interpretation, these are aspects of arts and humanities. While in science has these aspects of explaining things and description. These are attributes of science. So, sociology in social action, Weber also talks about the needs for causal analysis, which takes some clues from science. And when he says that we need to look into the meaning, he takes some aspects from humanities. So social action is again bridging, and Weber is advocating that we should not make sociology just like science. There are some limitations of science which we need to acknowledge, and also we need to take some elements from science, and we can't let sociology be entirely a subject of humanities. So now I think now we can see the definition of social action. It can help us, especially if we're writing some exams. And this is the definition. A social action is an action. A social action is an action carried out by an individual to which a person attach a meaning, and an action which takes into account the behavior of others and is thereby oriented in its course. So two keywords, two phrases are important here. Attach a meaning and behavior of others. Meaning and others. It's an action where an individual attach a meaning and he takes into account the behavior of others and thereby orients his action and its course. Now we will see an ideal type which Weber has constructed for social action. We read about ideal type in another day, but social action ideal type we can take up today. So Weber classifies that a social action could belong to one of these: goal rational social action or work rational, value rational social action or word rational, affective and traditional social action. So what are these? Goal rational social actions are those where the goals also and the means also, both of them, goals and means, they are decided, they are chosen only on the basis of efficiency, on the basis of rationality. Examples we can take up, like of goal rational. For example, when there is a war and a military general, the chief, he would decide where to fight, whom to pick up. He will set his goals and his means entirely on the basis of merit. So he would decide entirely on the basis of merit. And like this is a military general planning for the war. He would assign the task according to the merit of his officials, not on the basis of some personal attachment or values involved. Similarly, if we see that, say, take any game or like cricket, if we take, and the ex-Indian captain Dhoni, if he were to assign, if he were to decide whom he should ask to bowl the last few overs, he would pick up a sports person, he would pick up the cricketer, the bowler, who is expected to give least amount of runs, least number of runs. So his decision is entirely going to be rational. Second is value rational. Examples of these we can take up. Here, the goal, what to do, is decided on the basis of some value, not on some basis of rationality, and means, that is how to do it, that is decided on the basis of efficiency. A very famous example which is given here is of captain of a ship. Now he guides the ship, he provides leadership to the ship, to the crew member, and all his decisions, they are taken on the basis of rationality, on the basis of efficiency. But what if the ship sinks? It is often said that the captain of the ship, he sinks along with the ship if there is a mishap. You must have remembered that famous scene of Titanic movie, in which the captain, he sank with the ship. He had the choice. He was himself the captain. He could have gone. He could have asked the crew to allow him to escape, but he chose to sink with the ship because that is what his ultimate goal was, based on a value that he has to save lives of the people and he can't return unless each of them is saved. But how he would do that, how he would select the crew and what task he would assign them, that is completely based on rationality. Third is affective social action, and these are the social actions in which the person takes out that action in some, due to some emotions, not because of rationality, not because of rationality. For example, we often see cricketers and other sports persons, they do something wrong on the fields, they do some aggression, they break rules. For example, they often bite each other or they kick each other. And there was a famous incident in which Indian cricketer Harbhajan Singh, he even slapped one of the players on the field. Now, when these incidents happens, these sports persons know that this is actually going to be, this could bring a lot of troubles for them, but they still go ahead with this. So Harbhajan, he slapped Srisant, even knowing that this could this could lead problems to him, and this could lead to his suspension or penalties. But he was so angry, he just went on and slapped him. So such decisions which are taken in such under such emotions, they are categorized into that. Other example which is given is of a mother who beats her child, even though she loves him. But when she is angry, sometimes she goes and slaps the child or beats the child, because she loves him so much that she can't bear some of the faults, or she has so much trouble. The last is traditional social actions. Then, as the name suggests, these actions are taken because because of some customs which have been followed by your previous generations for long years. Like in India, we touch feet of our elders as a mark of respect, and because it's a part of our custom. And similarly, there are customs in almost all societies. Some kind of customs are there. Even in hostel, when ragging is done. Now, this ragging, it is illegal. It can bring in huge punishment. Student can be expelled from the school and college, but still they do it sometimes because they say that our seniors did it, so we will also do it. Okay, friends. So these are the subtypes of social action, and this is in brief. We can say we have discussed about social action. This is how we discussed with that. This is the definition if you want to revisit it. This was all about social action. We will take the other topics in subsequent days if time permits. Thank you. Please like the video if you found it useful. Thank you for watching.